meeting. We'll start out with veteran on this day in history. Baltimore took place 280 years ago today during the War of 1812. During this battle, the British Navy bombarded Fort McHenry to ensure safe entrance into Baltimore Harbor. Despite heavy British pressure, our flag was still there on September 14th, a sight so inspiring to a young lawyer who was a POW that he wrote a poem about it right then and there. His name was Francis Scott Key, and his poem became the words of our beloved national anthem. At the same time, the Battle of Baltimore was raging. A young volunteer from Middlebury was being held as a POW in Halifax. His name was Phineas Stanton, and he was captured as he participated in the Battle of Bridgewater. Canadians call it the Battle of Lundy's Lane. Mr. Stanton participated in the Battle of Queenstown Heights, where Stanton was nearly killed while rendering aid to his commanding officer who was hit by musket fire. After recovering, he answered General Harrison's, the future ninth president's, call to defend Fort George on present-day Canadian soil. It was from here that Phineas partook in many battles on the front lines of the fight for the Niagara frontier and eventually became a POW. It should be noted that his father was a Revolutionary soldier in the Battle of Saratoga, and Phineas's brother Eldridge was killed during the Battle of Black Rock in present-day North Buffalo. After the war, Mr. Stanton was commissioned as an officer of the New York militia, and he rose rapidly through the ranks with the tenacity expected of someone from our county. He eventually rose to the rank of Major General and was in charge of the 23rd Division of New York Infantrymen. During this time, General Stanton was elected as a New York Assemblyman in 1825, and he had a reputation as a great citizen and Christian that the community looked up to and respected. The general died in 1842 and is buried in the Wyoming Cemetery in the village of Wyoming. Mr. Stanton was a very accomplished citizen and someone all of Wyoming County can be proud of as one of our own. And I would like to thank Cindy Ammerheim, our county historian, her staff, and our veteran services for researching these facts and bringing them to our attention. Our county has a rich heritage that too often is unknown to many and at risk of becoming lost forever to our future generations. It is a privilege to have this opportunity to help keep the memory alive of those who have forged the path for us to be here today. And today, our veteran that will be leading our pledge is Bosun 3rd Class Donald C. Brooks. Bosun Brooks grew up in South Buffalo, where his father owned several properties, so his job included maintenance and collecting rent. The family eventually moved to Depew, where he graduated from high school. After graduation, he was inducted in the Navy. Mr. Brooks worked for the New York Central Railroad like his father. In February 1944, Mr. Brooks left for basic training in Sampson, New York, before going to aviation radio school in Jacksonville, Florida. Due to extenuating circumstances, however, they split the trainees in half, with Mr. Brooks' side being put to work on ships. Life on the ship was difficult, especially given the small size of it. The ship had a shallow hull, so when there were ocean storms, there was an extra risk of capsizing. Between the ship and the hull size, amenities were in short supply. Which also meant that they had to take showers drawn up from the salty ocean. They also had to dump all of their shell cases in the sea, which Mr. Brooks says, if someone can find all the brass us boys dumped in the war, they would be among the richest people in the world. Mr. Brooks participated in a number of battles, most famously the Battle of Okinawa. During these battles, his ship's responsibility was to fire at planes flying overhead and to fire large projectiles onto the island. They would be covered in a white powder to prevent burns from the backblast. Towards the end of the war, and with a desperate enemy, he witnessed many kamikazes flying toward the larger ships. His LCS 113 was deemed too small to target. Once the war finally ended, they were part of the occupying force of Japan and Yogasaka. While there, they became friendly with a poor woman and her young son. They would give them food and chocolate, helping to show the locals that we were not the savage monsters that propaganda led them to believe. This small contribution was one of the keys to laying the groundwork that has enabled Japan to be one of our most reliable friends for nearly 80 years. In May of 1946, Mr. Brooks received his well-earned honorable discharge. For his valor and courageous service to our country, Mr. Brooks was awarded the American Theater Medal, Asiatic Pacific Medal with 1 star, Victory Medal. Mr. Brooks soon married his wife for nearly 60 years, Corinne, and went back to work for the New York Central Railroad. Mr. Brooks, however, was called upon again, and when War in Korea broke out. Because of his prior service and being married with a young son, he stayed stateside for a year before his second and final honorable discharge from the United States Navy. For the 3rd time, he went back to the New York Central Railroad as a storekeeper until his retirement. During this time, Mr. Brooks bought a small farm in Attica on over 40 acres, which he is still proud to call his home. After this retirement, Mr. Brooks began working for the Pavilion School District as a janitor before moving up to the superintendent of building and grounds department. Mr. Brooks and his wife had 7 children, 15 grandchildren, and many great-grandchildren throughout the land. He's very happy that 6 of his children graduated from college, and 3 of them currently own their own farms. For over the past 20 years, Mr. Brooks has owned a winter home in Florida, which he still drives to and from by himself. Mr. Brooks is a fine example of millions in the greatest generation who did their job, nearly died numerous times for our country, and simply went to work to take care of their families. It is an honor and a privilege for our county to recognize all that Mr. Donald Charles Brooks has done for the greatest country in the history of the world. And I could say,
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
great privilege to present you with this plaque. Supervisor Kell, would you like to join us up here? I would thank you for your service, and for your service and the many that have come before you, after you, and are still currently serving and will come in the future. We can do this society today to practice ours. Thank you very much. And it's our custom to allow you to say a few words to us.
Well, that's way beyond my. But I do want to thank you for your time and effort. I don't. Well, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. I just don't know what to say.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What's that? So how many Donnie Brooks? I never served with the same year. But this is 96. So.
August. Madam Deputy Clerk, are there any communications?
Madam Chair, we do not have any communications for the month of September.
Resolution number 1 by Mr. Kale, Chairman of the Finance Committee.
Madam Chair, please have a clerk read resolution number 1 that approved by the Finance Committee and I move for adoption.
Resolution number 1 by Mr. Kale, Chairman of the Finance Committee. Funds transferred to various 2022 accounts for the Egg and Business Center, $28,000.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolution number 1? Seeing none, Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Bennington.
Aye.
Gaskell.
Aye.
Covington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Higginsville.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Java.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
And Attica.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 38 absent.
Resolution number 1 is carried. Resolution number 2 by Mr. Kale, Chairman of the Finance Committee.
Madam Chair, please have the clerk read resolution number 2 approved by the Finance Committee and I move for its adoption.
Resolution number 2 by Mr. Kale, Chairman of the Finance Committee. Funds appropriated to various 2022 accounts. Information technology, $88,400. Board of Supervisors, $8,000. County Attorney, $1,958.43. Social Services, $100,000. Mental Health, $43,385.12. On behalf of the coroners, $29,000. Highway, $1,640,936.50. Buildings and Grounds, County Buildings, $118,000. Sheriff, $45,955. Emergency Services, $50,000. For probation, $20,000.
Questions or comments regarding resolution number 2?
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Attica.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Gaskell.
Aye.
Covington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Gainesville. Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Java.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
And Sheldon.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 38 absent.
Resolution number 2 has been carried. Now we have the presentation of the monthly expenditures by Ms. Grant, Vice Chair of the Audit Committee.
Madam Chair, bills totaling $12,156,059.61 have been reviewed by the auditing committee members and we have approved them for payment.
Resolutions 3 through 5 by Mrs. King, Chairman of the Human Resource Committee.
Madam Chairwoman, please have the clerk read resolutions number 3 through 5. They've been approved by the Human Resource Committee, and I move for their adoption.
Resolution number 3 by Mrs. King, Chairman of the Human Resource Committee. Salary Schedule G, Handbook Amendment approved. Resolution number 4, Salary Schedules C, D, and S, Handbook Amendments approved. Resolution number 5, Resolution number 22-158 amended.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolutions 3 through 5? Seeing none, Madam Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Attica.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Gaskell.
Aye.
Covington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Gainesville.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Java.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
And Sheldon.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 38 absent.
Resolutions 3 through 5 have been carried. Resolution 6 through 17 by Ms. Grant, Chairwoman of the Human Services.
Madam Chair, please have the deputy clerk read resolutions 6 through 17. They've been approved by the Human Services Committee and will be adopted.
Resolution number 6 by Ms. Grant, Chairman of the Human Services Committee. Chairman authorized to sign a grant application and acceptance award with the Alzheimer's Association on behalf of the Office for the Aging. Resolution number 7, resolution number 21-262 amended. Resolution number 8, resolution number 21-536 amended. Resolution number 9, resolution number 22-398 amended. Resolution number 10, Chairman authorized to sign a grant application and acceptance award with New York State Office of Child and Family Services, OCFS, Office of Youth Development on behalf of the Youth Bureau. Resolution number 11, Youth Court Month proclaimed. Resolution number 12, Chairman authorized to sign a contract with Glow YMCA on behalf of the Youth Bureau. Resolution number 13, Chairman authorized to sign a grant application and acceptance award with New York State Department of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation on behalf of the Youth Bureau. Resolution number 14, Chairman, Commissioner of Social Services authorized to sign various contracts on behalf of the Department of Social Services. Resolution number 15, resolution number 22-351 amended. Resolution number 16, members appointed, reappointed to the Global Workforce Development Board. And resolution number 17, September 13th, 2022, proclaimed Rosie Shader Day in Wyoming County.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolutions 6 through 17? Hearing none, and Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Ortonville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Edica.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Cascine.
Aye.
Covington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Gainesville.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
And Middlebury.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 48 absent.
Resolutions 6 through 17 have been carried, and Ms. Grant, we have 2 proclamations. I think the second one we will do for the available.
Youth Court Month proclaimed. Whereas throughout September, more than 1,200 youth court programs operate in the nation's juvenile justice systems and will celebrate National Youth Court Month. And whereas youth courts are one of the fastest growing crime prevention programs in the nation, youth courts emphasize the importance of being involved in one's community and provide our youth with an opportunity to learn about government and take an active role in upholding our democratic principles. And whereas youth courts empower youth through involvement in community solutions by developing skills in leadership, decision-making, and problem-solving. Youth learn the appropriate use of peer pressure and are given opportunities to mentor and instill integrity in their peers. They gain a clearer understanding of our nation's judicial system. And whereas we all should strive to reduce juvenile delinquency in this country, youth court teaches our youth about accountability and the consequences of making poor choices. They also reward responsible behavior. And whereas the Wyoming County Board of Supervisors strongly supports youth court programs because they help build healthier and safer communities, and the board commends the youth and adult volunteers who support the Wyoming County Youth Bureau's Youth Court. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wyoming County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim the month of September 2022 as Youth Court Month in Wyoming County and calls on all citizens to find ways to give their time, energy, and talents to serve and support the Wyoming County Youth Board. And it bears the seal of the board and the signature of the chairman of the board. And this will be presented to the Wyoming County Youth Bureau and the director to share with all of their board participants. Thank you.
Resolutions 18 through 22 by Mr. Davis, Chairman of the Public Health.
Madam Chair, please have the deputy clerk read resolutions 18 through 22 that have been approved by the Public Health Committee, and I move for their adoption.
Resolution number 18 by Mr. Davis, Chairman of the Public Health Committee, approving sole source procurement with Zephyr Incorporated on behalf of mental health. Resolution number 19, suicide prevention awareness month proclaimed. Resolution number 20, resolution number 21-331 amended. Resolution number 21, Chairman and Commissioner of Health authorizes sign a sub-agreement with Wyoming County Community Action on behalf of the County Health Department. Resolution number 22, Chairman and Commissioner of Health authorizes sign a contract with Mid-City Office Equipment Incorporated on behalf of the County Health Department.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolutions 18 through 22? None? Then it's called.
Bennington,
Aye.
Castile,
Aye.
Bennington,
Aye.
Eagle,
Aye.
Painesville,
Aye.
Genesee Falls,
Aye.
Jacob,
Aye.
Middlebury,
Aye.
Orangeville,
Aye.
Perry,
Aye.
Pike,
Aye.
Sheldon,
Aye.
Woodstock,
Aye.
Arcade,
Aye.
and Etica.
Aye.
1,561 ayes, 38 yes.
18 through 22 have been carried. And Mr. Davis, I will read that.
If I do.
Suicide Prevention Awareness Month proclaimed. Whereas the month of September 2022 was National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, is intended to promote awareness of suicide as a cause of death, educate the public on the preventative strategies, and eliminate stigma surrounding suicide and mental health. And whereas worldwide, one person dies by suicide every 40 seconds, and in America, almost 50,000 people die by suicide each year. And whereas for every suicide that occurs, approximately 25 people attempt suicide, meaning that 1 million people or more are touched by suicide each year. And whereas every suicide affects not only the immediate friends and family of the deceased, but coworkers, teammates, acquaintances, and communities. And whereas we believe that suicide can be prevented by noticing change in behavior and other warning signs, asking great questions about suicide intent, and making caring connections with helping professionals. And whereas suicide can be prevented by reducing stigma surrounding mental disorders and crisis, share our experience with challenging thoughts and emotions, and supporting those who have lost a loved one to suicide. And whereas the Wyoming County population strengthens persistence, willingness, work hard and generous towards our neighbors make us uniquely qualified to prevent suicide. Now therefore, be it resolved. The Wyoming County Board of Supervisors do here proclaim September 2022 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and it's signed by Chairwoman Becky.
So I will make this brief. My name is Kristen Fisher. I work at the Wyoming County Mental Health Department, and I'm the coordinator of our Suicide Prevention Coalition. So the band Nirvana, which unfortunately for me is classic rock now, has a song with the lie, "The sun is gone, but I have a light." If you pay any attention to the media or, basically anything these days, it can really feel like the sun has truly gone. And if you've struggled with suicidal thoughts or you've lost someone to suicide, you might feel that you are in the darkness and just invisible. Suicide is a topic that's so uncomfortable that it's almost easier not to mention it. But this proclamation shines a light on that dark subject. Moreover, it shines a light on the people who are considering suicide, who often feel very alone in their pain. And it shines a light on those who have lost a loved one to suicide, allowing them to feel seen. So please continue to shine our light of hope on the dark places. Join our annual Suicide Prevention Awareness Walk, which is on Wednesday, September 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. in Perry. There's a flyer at the very end of your agenda today. And thank you so much for all you do to promote wellness and hope in Wyoming County.
Resolution number 23 by Mr. Becker, Chairman of the Agriculture.
Mr. Chairman, please have the deputy clerk read resolution 23 through the agricultural committee. It has been approved. 23, it has been approved by the ag committee and I move for its adoption.
Resolution number 23 by Mr. Becker, Chairman of the Agriculture Committee. Resolution in opposition to sign S.6510A.7785, an act to amend the environmental conservation law in relation to big game hunting season, and urge Governor Hochul to veto the same in its entirety.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolution number 23? None, Madam Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Ainsdale.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike. Sheldon.
Aye.
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Attica. Bennington. Castile. Abington.
Aye.
And Eagle.
Aye.
1,421 aye, 178 absent.
Resolution number 23 has been carried. Resolutions number 24 through 26 by Mr. Ward, Chairman of the Planning.
Madam Chairwoman, please have the deputy clerk read resolutions 24 through 26. They've been approved by the planning committee and I move for their adoption.
Resolution number 24 by Mr. Lord, Chairman of the Planning Committee. James Bragg appointed to New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Region 9, Regional Open Space Advisory Committee. Resolution number 25, countywide zoning fee schedule amended and approved. Resolution number 26, Chairman authorized to sign a contract with Wyoming Construction Incorporated on behalf of the Wyoming County Water Resources Agency.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolutions 24 to 26? There are none, then Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Abington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Gainesville.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Warsaw. Arcade.
Aye.
Attica.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
And Castile.
Aye.
1,561 ayes, 38 absent.
Resolutions number 24 through 26 have been carried. Resolutions number 27 through 33 by Mr. Rick, Chairman of the Public Works Committee.
Madam Chairman, please have the deputy clerk read resolutions 27 through 33 that have been approved by the Public Works Committee, and I move for adoption.
Resolution number 27 by Mr. Brick, Chairman of the Public Works Committee. Annual highway material bids approved. Resolution number 28, Chairman authorized to award bids and sign various contracts on behalf of county highway. Resolution number 29, Chairman authorized to sign various contracts with Building Drainage Supply Company Incorporated on behalf of county highway. Resolution number 30, Chairman authorized to sign a contract with Campus Construction Management on behalf of Buildings and Grounds, County Buildings. Resolution number 31, resolution number 22-209 amended. Resolution number 32, resolution number 21-496 amended. And resolution number 33, resolution number 20-039 amended.
Are there any comments or questions regarding resolutions 27 and 33? Hearing none, and Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Worsakk.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Attica.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Cascade. Covington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Janesville.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Jaybot.
Aye.
And Middlebury.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 38 absent.
Resolutions 27 and 33 have been carried. Resolutions 35 through 44 by Ms. Renee.
30 for non-consent.
Non-consent, resolution number 34 by Mr. Brick, Chairman of the Public Works Committee.
Madam Chairman, please have the deputy clerk read resolution number 34. It's been approved by the Public Works Committee, and I move for its adoption.
Non-consent resolution number 34 by Mr. Brick, Chairman of the Public Works Committee. Chairman authorized to sign a contract with Southworth Milton Incorporated on behalf of County Highway.
Are there any comments or questions regarding resolution number 34? Non-consent resolution. Is there none? And Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Eagle.
Aye.
Janesville.
Aye.
Genesee Falls.
Aye.
Jaybot.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Worsakk.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Attica.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Cascade.
Aye.
And Covington.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 38 absent.
Non-consent resolution number 34 has been carried.
Rained a lot.
44 by Mrs. May, Chairwoman of Public Safety.
Madam Chairwoman, please have the deputy clerk read resolutions number 35 through 44. They've been approved by the Safety Committee, and I move their adoption.
Resolution number 35 by Mrs. May, Chairman of the Public Safety Committee. Sheriff's Week proclaimed. Resolution number 36, Chairman authorized to sign a grant application and acceptance award to the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. Resolution number 37, Chairman authorized to accept the Onondaga County bid award and exercise the right to piggyback as an eligible political subdivision in General Municipal Law, Section 103, subsection 16, on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. Resolution number 38, resolution number 21-563 amended. Resolution number 39, Chairman authorized to sign a grant application, Chairman authorized to sign a grant acceptance award with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services Office of Interoperable and Emergency Communications on behalf of 911. Resolution number 40, Chairman authorized to sign a grant acceptance award with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services Office of Interoperable and Emergency Communications on behalf of 911. Resolution number 41, resolution number 18-270 amended. Resolution number 42, Chairman authorized to sign a grant application and acceptance award with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services on behalf of Wyoming County Emergency Services. Resolution number 43, chairman authorized to accept the Broome County bid award for emergency management assistance and exercise the right to piggyback as an eligible political subdivision under general municipal law, section 103, subsection 16, on behalf of emergency services. And resolution number 44, resolution opposing the recently passed Concealed Carry Improvement Act, CCIA.
Any questions or comments regarding resolutions number 35 to 44?
Madam Chairwoman, resolution number 44, I would like to thank Clerk Ketchum, who's not here today, and Mr. Krozak and Mr. Becker for bringing that forward. They worked together to bring one resolution together, so I don't know if Mr. Krozak wanted to say anything. in regards to it. Okay. Okay.
And Deputy Clerk, please call.
Yes, Skylar. Abington.
Aye.
Eagle.
Aye.
Gainesville. Genesee Falls. Sheba.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Warsaw. Arcade.
Aye.
Attica. And Bennington.
Aye.
1,561 aye, 38 absent.
Resolutions number 35 to 44 have been carried. And Mrs. May, I have a few.
That is.
Okay, proclamation, Wyoming County Sheriff's Week proclaimed. Whereas the Office of Sheriff has been an integral part of the criminal justice system in New York State and in Wyoming County throughout our history, having been established in the state's first constitution in 1777 and continued in every succeeding constitution, and having been one of our original constitutional officers on the founding of our county, and whereas despite changes in its function, status, and powers during its long history, the Office of Sheriff has maintained a continuous existence, preserved its distinguishing heritage, and continues to be an essential component of our criminal justice community. And whereas the Office of Sheriff has evolved into a modern, professional, full-service law enforcement agency manned by fully trained police officers using state-of-the-art technology and applying the latest and most advanced theories and practices in the criminal justice field. And whereas the Office of Sheriff is unique in the community and the duties of the office go far beyond the traditional role of keeper of the peace and extended to many facets of public service, including maintaining the county jail, providing security in our courts, dispatching emergency services, and serving and executing civil process for our courts. And whereas, as a constitutionally empowered office directly responsible to the people, the ancient Office of Sheriff remains, even today, responsive and accountable to the public it serves. And whereas it is fitting to celebrate historical contributions of the sheriff, of the Office of Sheriff, and the significant role that the sheriffs play in our modern criminal justice system, now therefore being resolved, Wyoming County Board of Supervisors hereby recognize the important services provided to the citizens of this county by Acting Sheriff Linder and the members of the Sheriff's Office, and hereby proclaim September 18th through the 24th of September 2022 to be Sheriff's Week in Wyoming County, and signed sealed by Rebecca Ryan, Chairman, Board of Supervisors.
Thank you. We have all the men and women next door. Thank you for all the support you give us. We couldn't do what we do without you. Thanks.
We have resolutions number 45 through 58. Mr. Carroll, Chairman of the Finance Committee.
Madam Chairwoman, please have the clerk read resolutions 45 to 58. Is approved by the finance committee. I move for adoption.
Resolution number 45 by Mr. Bell, Chairman of the Finance Committee. David Litter appointed as a representative to the Wyoming County Workers' Compensation Committee. Resolution number 46, disability insurance rates for Shelter Point approved. Resolution number 47, resolution number 15-386 amended. Resolution number 48, resolution number 19-561 amended. Resolution number 49, chairman authorized to sign a contract with the Research Foundation for the State University of New York on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. Resolution number 50, resolution number 22-377 amended. Resolution number 51, resolution number 22-379 amended. Resolution number 52, salary schedules S, C, and P amended. Resolution number 53, positions approved. Resolution number 54, resolution number 22-243 amended. Resolution number 55, resolution number 22-250 amended. Resolution number 56, resolution number 20-304 amended. Resolution number 57, resolution number 18-576 amended. And resolution number 58, hospital administrator authorized to sign various contracts on behalf of Wyoming County Community Health.
Any questions or comments regarding resolutions number 45 through 58? Hearing none, and Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Eagle.
Aye.
Gainesville.
Aye.
Lake Falls.
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Middlebury.
Aye.
Orangeville.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Aye.
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
Aye.
Anacott.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Castile.
Aye.
And Cottington.
Aye.
1,561 ayes, 38 absent.
Resolutions number 45 through 58 have been carried. And consent resolution number 59 by Mr. Carroll, Chairman of the Finance Committee.
Madam Chairwoman, please have the clerk read resolution number 59 approved by the finance committee. I move for adoption.
Non-consent resolution number 59 by Mr. Carroll, Chairman of the Finance Committee. Resolution number 21-243 amended.
Are there any questions or comments regarding resolution number 59?
And Chairman, I will be abstaining from this vote.
Madam Chairwoman, I will be voting no relative to this resolution. Not from the standpoint that I don't think we should pay our bills, but on a matter of principle. I don't believe that the attorney fees that were incurred were excessive, I believe, and that there was a lack of transparency and accountability associated with those fees. So I will be voting no.
Is there no other comments? And Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Orangeville.
No.
Perry.
No.
Pike.
Aye.
Sheldon.
Yes.
Warsaw.
Aye.
Arcade.
No.
Anacott.
Aye.
Bennington.
Aye.
Castile.
No.
Covington.
Aye.
Eagle.
No.
Gainesville.
No.
Genesee Falls.
Abstain.
Jacob.
No.
And Middlebury.
No.
708 ayes, 834 noes, 38 absent, 19 abstain.
Resolution number 59 is defeated. We have a unanimous consent resolution number 60. For our committee of the whole. Myself as chairman of the committee of the
Unanimous consent resolution number 60 by Mrs. Ryan, Chairman of the Committee of the Whole. Memorandum of Understanding by and between CSBA and the County of Wyoming approved.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the resolution of unanimous consent resolution number 60? Yes.
HR would recommend that any managers that are regularly involved in hiring at the hospital, as well as the nurse recruiter and HR staff, be excluded from proceedings.
It's in draft form, and this is our different.
Excuse me, Madam Chairwoman. The COVID's right. These are incentives for bonuses for new hires.
We would recommend that a nurse recruiter whose job is to recruit nurses.
I don't read stipend in here. I read recruitment incentive bonuses to current bargaining unit employees on the payroll as of their starting date. In HR. Recruited and hired into full-time and registered positions for nurses, LPN, and certified nursing aides. Is that, do you understand it?
Yes, that's correct. And we would just recommend that the staff that is regularly involved in hiring not receive an incentive for doing so.
So essentially, HR is recommending an amendment to a resolution and that came out of committee of the whole, but I don't believe we can act upon an amendment.
Madam Chair, isn't this specifically say it's just between the union, correct?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, what we're voting on is today, it's just between the union and us, not anything that we decide later. I would think they would go back like to HR or.
There's a separate resolution.
This says bargaining unit.
Yes.
That's bargaining.
Yeah.
unit, so I think that's.
Yeah, which may include some of the managers at the hospital.
Some of the managers are in the bargaining union?
Yes.
So to be clear, are you still saying that HR is recommending that the managers be excluded?
That's correct.
And we can't act on.
Has this been approved by the other side, CSBA?
I'm unsure of that. And then it's just understanding when we spoke about the agreement. The managers not being included in that.
Under the circumstances,
My
Madam
notes are
Chair.
that, Mr. Faberman has discussed it with the union leadership and they seem agreeable.
I don't think we should act on
Yes, draft it.
That this is the draft and
There's questions.
that's the draft that's attached to it. Mr. Faberman also indicated that he suggests that human resources employees, elected officials, and Atlantic County community hospital management employees with any hiring authority or responsibility be excluded from the referral program. But I think that's in line with our ethics, code of ethics that was recently.
Covered by that.
Yes,
But this resolution does not say that.
that's correct.
So my recommendation would be to withdraw the resolution.
If we revisit this in October, we could retroactive it back to this date of September.
I won't vote to amend on a subsequent date.
I'm sorry. It's
I'm sorry, if we table this until the October meeting with revised language to clarify those points, because there was a concern of mine as well, but, and then if it's appropriate, we can have that language also make the agreement retroactive to this date or September 1st, or I don't know.
Thank
With that discussion, the discussion and this next discussion, I will withdraw the next consent. And work on that. I believe you have a property. I would like to give
Supervisor Davis, Supervisor.
Shade who is drawn down here under false pretenses. Oh, no.
I told her, oh, there's legal questions about that grant.
Run down here.
Proclamation. Yes. The three of us supervisors are serving as board members to Wyoming County Community Action. And I believe all those of us in attendance at the Human Services Committee were very vocal about wanting to go forth with this proclamation. Whereas Rosemary Shaker has served the Wyoming County community as Executive Director of Wyoming County Community Action since 2018 with skill and grace, knowledge, compassion, and dedication. And whereas her leadership role included providing direction and support to components of her agency that serve our residents, including employment and training, housing, community and family support, and the Angel Action Program. And whereas thousands of our families, friends, and neighbors are served by Wyoming County Community Action, which has been strengthened by Ms. Shader's abilities and direction. And whereas Ms. Shader served as an active partner with other Wyoming County agencies and departments during the coronavirus pandemic, to develop safe protocols, as well as continue to provide services that became in much greater demand. And whereas Ms. Shader has worked to ensure that individuals and families being served by the agency are treated with respect and compassion, and through her efforts in regional and statewide networking and aggressive grant writing, new programs have been developed and offered by the agencies to its clientele to meet their needs. And whereas her fiscal background and decision-making abilities have led the agency to a stronger financial standing and enabled her board to have the information to make decisions to better their preparedness for the future. And whereas through her years at WCCA, Ms. Shader has overseen changes in leadership on the board of directors, as well as in her program divisions, ensuring that the integrity standards and goals of the agency continue to be met. Now therefore be it resolved that in recognition of her profound dedication and caring for others, it is with great respect and admiration that the Wyoming County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim September 13th, 2022 as Rhodey Shader Day in Wyoming County, and be it further resolved that the Wyoming County Board of Supervisors hereby extends its best wishes to Ms. Shader for a long and happy retirement.
Too bad I don't need a resume anymore. Thank you very much. Well, I certainly don't plan to just right off in the sunset. This has been the most meaningful time of my career for sure, and I hope
And we know that community action and other agencies like community action need people like me and you and to be volunteers and to lend their skills as needed. And certainly I hope to be able to do that long into the future. So, and thank you all very much. This means more than you can even know. So thank you.
No questions.
Madam Chair, you mentioned in the beginning of this meeting about the significance of the day. Today was 51 years since the Attic prison riots. I think it's now it's those folks that were involved in that on that day.
I just want to mention, kind of spontaneously, a lot of times when problems come up or issues in the community or the world, everybody says, somebody should take care of this. There's a problem, somebody needs to take care of it. We have two individuals sitting in the back corner that every time there's an issue that comes up that they think needs to be addressed, they go out and do research, they find out the facts of a situation, and then they know how to, I don't know, get it through the pipeline. So their thoughts and their concerns can actually bear fruition. And just thank you, gentlemen.
That was a great thing to say. And they have, it's been,
Countless times.
yeah, it has, and it's been.
We don't have apartments.
And they do it with the utmost respect and courtesy, and it's greatly appreciated. And I know I gained a lot of knowledge from what you both have said over on different topics. You always have freedoms first and foremost in your minds, and I appreciate that myself. Thank you.
Especially the water.
Anything else?
I got a creek.
Mr. Burrow.
No, my guy is getting ready to not do it.